Calvin, this is such a very intriguing premise for a film. Where did this concept come from for you?
Oh, I just really wanted to try to make a contribution to this sort of low budget sci-fi that I had sort of been enjoying. I feel like there's been a wave of it in the last 5 years, or maybe more, but where people have taken a small budget and said something new with it. But while we were doing that, I wanted to also kind of tip our hat to the giants of the 80s, the Cronenbergs and the Stuart Gordons. We also love Altered States, but you can't just live their plot line. So I wanted to write something that made sense to me and something that kind of I personally hadn't seen explored before. So that's where I landed.
What was it about Sam then, or maybe Calvin's script that drew you to be a part of this?
Um, in particular, without getting into details that Calvin may know, but when it came to me, it came in such a random through another, not my agent or whatever, through someone I had worked with like 10 years ago as a stunt guy who
Yeah,
knew,
Stuntman.
yeah, the stunt, and he's a friend of mine, but he doesn't live here either. But it came through him knowing Cole, one of the producers, and then reaching out to me. And I was like, okay. And there's a particular kind of thing where you're not getting or I'm not, you know, getting a lot of projects at that moment for particular reasons. And that, when I read that, it was it was so good. I mean, like it was like, this is all playable. I mean, a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff that is way beyond my pay grade, but I, did my best in the situation to be able to explain, quantum physics at certain times to someone, the Donna character or whatever. But as the actor, I had to learn to the best of my ability what all that meant. Um, and I just pulled myself into the weeds. Wait a minute, what was the question? What was that question?
What was it that drew you to be a part of the
Oh,
movie?
right, right. So like the idea of that, and then meeting with him and the producer and talking and watching his work, I felt blessed because I was like, oh, dude, this is my sense of humor. I didn't have to question it, like it matching up the meeting with that guy that I'm pointing at Calvin to what that material was, and then looking at his previous work, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro, let's do this. And I didn't know what we were doing, but I just figured we'd try. And that was what was kind of fun on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Calvin, there's so many incredible moments to this movie. Is there a particular scene you're most proud of how it came from page to screen?
I really love the scene where Donna visits Sam for the first time when she rolls up at that very late hour. Um, yeah, I like the sequence that leads into it, and I like the scene it feeds into. I'm very proud of both of our actors for doing that. We had a very short period of time, and they did a great job. I watched that. If I rewatch it, I rewatch that scene. It pulls me in personally. And it was the first scene my editor showed me, and I was like, man, we're going to be on something here. I was very excited.
Yeah, and there were some scenes were long.
Yeah.
Oh, like it was like, yeah. So, and I appreciate the scene that he's talking about too, but I'm just going, yeah, actually, there were a lot of pages for like one scene. Like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
and
it wasn't
that
easy.
pulled
It
together
wasn't
well.
easy.
I was going to ask Johnny too, then, is there a particular scene you're most proud of the work you put into, either as an actor or, scene work as far as Calvin was saying, the two of you finally coming together in this one scene for the first time?
I like the scene that how they put everything together where we see Sam's lab and him trying to explain to her why I'm her option to maybe fix herself and what else are you gonna do kind of thing. Um, seeing it all cut together because the lab wasn't all complete when we shot it, and we shot it in pieces. Things were forced to like, okay, now we fix this corner, and then we could show more. What I wanted was to be able, and this is where Calvin and I got to go into the room. I wanted to have movement and things within the scene, like let's show his lab. Um, so walking through all the like, fortunately, where the first time you see our stuff wasn't the first time that we were in the lab, which I had. That was where things were shot like, oh, well, you can't move because we have nothing back there and we have nothing back here. And that's simply because we moved our shooting schedule of these scenes with Nick. So we moved them up, like, were the first like couple things that were up. So wasn't necessarily ready for that, but we did it and we made that work. So to answer your question, I like that lab scene, the one that he was talking about when we see the rats, and he talks about the fact that there's he goes into another dimension and he comes back and he doesn't have cancer. I don't know why, but that seems to be what's happening. And if you have cancer, maybe we put your hand in there and you come back and you don't have cancer. It's like it makes sense in a way. I like how that scene.
It's
It's
hopeful.
all viable. If you had cancer and somebody presented you with a fucking option and you were basically at your wits' end and had none, I'd probably do it. So anyway, sorry.
How, what kind of response have you been receiving to people who have seen this incredible thrill ride?
It's been positive, which is rare for me. Usually,
It usually takes generations before his work starts to really have that impact.
he's actually not wrong. Yeah, usually it has taken a couple releases for some of my earlier films to find their home, their appreciation. But this one seems to be mostly positive reviews, and I've enjoyed talking to the folks who want to talk to me. It's been fun.
I think it's just a thrill ride through and through, and there's so much incredible sci-fi, but there's horror. It's just thrilling throughout. And of course, everybody wants, we think at this time we should already have this, cure for cancer. So why not alternative dimension created by that could help everything. I think that's what people are still hopeful for as well.
Hmm. Well, I mean, there are cures for cancers out there, some people say. Um, you can look into those sort of things. Some stuff is not told to us the way things are.
Uh, Hopefully there's no, well, maybe there's an alternative dimension that Calvin has psychically somehow released into the world that anything is possible.
I'm working on
Yeah.
it. I'm tell you what, I'm working on it.
Well, that's the whole thing. We can create all these dimensions that are actually existing all at the same time. It's like, where do we go where we harmonize with what frequency and that we land on, which is also part of our, the tunnel that is created through this A-frame, where you're sending someone to one of those, but he doesn't know which one or how or whatever, and maybe we'll get it yeah back, you know, and we do. So whatever those dimensions are, we could go through Calvin's A-frame, hopefully land in one where it makes not complete sense because then that'd be boring, but if everything kind of makes sense in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I
You
would
are
do
a man of science.
Yes.
that.
Johnny, I especially love every year that you and Ethan put so much effort into Ethan Embry into Rex Manning Day. What does it mean to you that this film is Empire Records is still so celebrated and such a special event for so many people? They look forward to the incredible event every year. You guys put so much forth into celebrating this fandom.
Was there a question?
Yes, I was asking, what does it mean to you that people still celebrate Rex Manning Day, and why is it so important for you and Ethan to still get so
Well, Ethan
involved?
is, I didn't know about Rex Manning Day. I didn't know, I didn't really grasp the concept until like maybe 10 years ago that there was like a following to this film. And that's kind of when I had heard about Rex Manning Day. And this is like from like a close friend, and it's like you're just holding this secret, like, oh yeah, that's like she celebrates that, but she doesn't let me know, that kind of stuff, like meaning like, oh, I don't want to say that I'm a fan or something. Uh, but Ethan introduced me to the Twitter. I mean, I think he was like, "Hey, this is going to be this," and he was like, "So in other words, it's Ethan had like allowed me to, I don't know, piggyback on some of the things that he was doing because I wasn't tweeting and things. He was doing live tweetings and or tweets and stuff back at some point. So what it means to me is once I discovered the fact that that is something and it means something to people, and I meet people all the time that really were affected and love that film. And it's a great film. It's a very simplistic but yet universal vibe of you know characters that are relatable and just kind of stand alone. It's like this guy's that, and this guy's that, this guy's that. But it means the world to me because it brings joy to people. And the idea that if I can contribute to help anyone else enjoy that film, that's kind of what I do. I just didn't know about it until I did. you know. I don't know if that answers your question.
Sure. Calvin, what's next for you? Have you been busy directing new films already?
Always working on new stuff, but I live in a world of precarity and I don't want to scare the fish. So uh, always working for the new thing.
A world of precarity.
Johnny, what's next for you then? Have you been busy working on some films or some television series in the coming up?
I did. I have A-Frame, which comes out this Friday and then comes out on demand. I have two other projects that are in the can. One is done and one is just about done. But it's called 6 Days in Evergreen, which is a completely different turn, kind of a romantic comedy. Uh, I guess I don't know, with musical elements in it. But that's a great film with and then there is this really dark comedy called Sticky. And I've seen a rough, and it was good and funny, and what we did, and then so it's those two, and I'm really excited about them. Um, so you can wish me luck on those for everybody
Got
involved
my
with
fingers crossed.
it.
Good luck, Johnny.
Thanks, Calvin. And good luck to you too, sir. And
Thank you.
Jimmy, always good luck. And I'm not wrapping up unless you are.